for me to whisper in your ear? If so, welcome to Wednesday Night Whispers with your host, the domesticated diva, Latasha Scruggs. Okay, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to my show. You are viewing me live on LSTV. I love to talk, so this is my station for education. I'm your host, Latasha Scurry. Well, tonight's guest, she was raised in Polk City, Florida. Attended Arbondale High School, where she played basketball, volleyball, and modeling was her dream career. She graduated from Florida Career Institute in 1996. In 1999, her oldest sister passed from colon cancer, and she started working at the Lockheed, I hope I'm saying that right, Martin, helped her mother take care of her sister's 3 children. She also obtained her 620 all-line adjuster's license from Polk Community College. Then she went full-time for her AAS in 2004 for business administration and management. She obtained another degree from Southeastern College, now University, in 2006. In 2020, she started celebrating Juneteenth in Polk City. And in 2021, she encouraged support from the city of Polk City in the celebration as a city event with sponsorship. She is a lifelong learner. There is so much more to this fabulous lady, and I would like for her to tell you. So please welcome my guest and the owner of New Outlook Events, Wanda Gaines. Hi, Miss Gaines.
Hi.
Lady, you have a very big background, so I couldn't tell it all. I want them to hear from you, okay?
Well, I appreciate that.
And one thing I can say is that you are not afraid to make change, and I love that in a woman.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, it is something. This is new, so I appreciate you having me on today, and I am just thankful for the opportunity, first of all, and just glad to be here.
Well, who is Wanda Gaines? Give us a background. Tell us all about you. Leave nothing out.
Well, you kind of summed up some of me there, and I'm just a small town girl. I born and raised in Polk City, Florida. Some would say country girl, but I'm a country city girl because I don't like cows and animals and insects or anything. I'm afraid of everything. But my mother and father are Wallace, Lisbon, and Rose Roberson. My mother raised me as a single parent, but my father was very active. He had me every weekend. Okay. And I have, my mom had 5 children altogether. I'm the baby of the pack, so I'm spoiled.
It's okay.
I don't mind telling people I'm spoiled.
It's okay.
And then I have another sister that my father had, a younger sister. Okay. But as you mentioned, one of my siblings passed away, my oldest sister. And recently, last year, the end of the year, my oldest brother passed away. Oh. So we are a little bit smaller, but we're still going forward. Momma Rose stays with me all the time, and we hang out. A lot of people know me for hanging out with my mom.
That's good. That's good. You still have your mother. So mine passed away in 2015, and then my dad passed away just recently in 2023. So, but I still have 4 big brothers, and we moving on.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I'm big on, just family, friends, loyalty. Okay. That's my thing.
Oh, awesome. Now, how did all of this come about with the event planning? How long have you been an event planner? And where did you get your training from? Because I've seen your work. It's fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So ultimately, I've officially been an event planner for 2 years.
Okay.
But I started out with event planning through church, actually.
Okay.
That's where I got my experience and training, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. So in church, in the church that I grew up in, which was a family church,
Right.
I had to play a lot of roles, and that actually cultivated who I am today.
Okay.
Thankfully, I was able to learn through church how to coordinate prayer breakfast, conferences, making church programs, speaking in front of the church.
Okay.
So those things brought me to the place that I am, where I'm able to coordinate, decorate, and see, which is what I do for my business.
Awesome. So when somebody comes to you, do you pick the venue, or they already have somewhere chosen to go? How does this come about?
So each client is different. There are some clients that have their venues, but the goal is for me to alleviate clients. My job is to make sure that everything is done for them. So typically, I'm the go-to person to handle every vendor, venue, all of that information is what I do. So they basically tell me what they're expecting, what they're looking for as far as what type of venue or the location, even, the city, the state, whatever it may be, so that they can have their event or party or meeting or whatever it may be. And then I seek out those venues that would, first of all, fit the crowd that they're looking for, and then obviously their budget.
Wow. So it is okay for somebody to come and say, you know what, I don't have a place, but if you choose this place for me, and or do you choose multiple places and then you sit down with them and say which one you like?
So when we are doing the venues, or when I do the venues, I typically find locations that fit. And then I would, based upon the client, either show them by going and visiting those venues and giving them video, audio, whatever that they need to see it. But typically I like to have the client to tour the venue with me.
Okay.
So that we can confirm that is the spot that they like.
Okay. Now, do you have a list of them in your repertoire, or you just go start searching when somebody calls you?
I do have some listed, but then there's so many. There's so many options and so many personalities. So yeah, we have to search a lot.
Okay. So what do you think makes a successful event? How do you know it was successful?
So for me, a successful event would include, for one, making sure that the client is smiling. But because an event can be very stressful for all parties involved. My job is to alleviate the stress. Not saying that they won't be involved at any point. There are some people that say they are not going to be involved, and then they are involved in the process, but that's fine. The point is to make sure that they are in good spirits. It's not just about being an event coordinator and getting things done. You have to actually deal with the person's emotions and their the stage that they're at in their life or whatever they're going through. So you kind of become a counselor in the process. Or I have. I can't say for everybody, but I have, and I'm thankful that I have those connections with my clients. But ultimately, a successful event is just making sure that their dreams are put forth and their vision that they have been laid out. And making sure that at the end of the day, again, that everything went through and their clients or their guests or whoever they're dealing with was happy at the end of the event. And I like to see that everything, once everything has been finished, as far as the planning process, that everything is beautiful.
So do you typically find yourself dealing with more women or men?
Women.
So my next question, how do you deal with that irate client, or have you had an irate client? Because you may not have had one yet.
I haven't had one.
Good.
As far as an event coordinator, I have not had one. I mean, obviously in other business avenues and insurance claims, I did. And, you know, obviously I know how to deal with them, but thankfully I haven't had that situation yet.
Okay, so somebody comes in and they say, this is my budget, I got to stick to it. How do you go about sticking to, what's your strategy for sticking to that budget?
Oddly enough, people say that and they never stick to their own budget.
Dealing with ladies.
Right. So, I mean, I ultimately I initially let them know what I can do within their budget, and I make sure that, you know, they are aware that their budget will be bringing this particular outcome.
Right.
And, you know, it's about communication. And so as we go along and I say, okay, we're at this next phase, for instance, we get the venue, we're at the venue, and these are the options within your budget. Right. If you would like to proceed with this particular venue, we need to do X, Y, Z. But I also have another venue that's available that's a little bit more, but this is that, you know, option for you. Okay. So it's kind of like they have an a la carte at some point, and then they decide if they want to move forward with something, you know, an alternative option.
It sounds like you have this all put together. I'm so proud to hear you say this. I don't meet many event planners, but like I said, I've seen your work. So I was just like, hey, I got to talk to her.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. So now when you're sitting down and you're getting ready to start an event for somebody, how do you prioritize those tasks and stay organized?
So typically I keep notes. So I would write down, you know, what I need to do. And most events have the same basic needs. You know, like I said, if I'm the coordinator for everything, you know, you have your venue, then you're going to locate your vendors that are going to involve, you know, catering or their music or entertainment pieces. Okay. You have to, you know, get the decorations together, or the decorators, whichever elements that they need for that, cake, if they need that. So food is involved, the decorations, the venue, and then of course, the logistics. And so that's, you know, seating and stuff like that. So,
are you pen and paper girl, or are you all electronic?
Both.
You both, okay.
Yeah.
How do you separate that though? I if it's a to-do list, I gotta write it down. It goes nowhere in my cell phone.
Actually, I have my phones all the time, so it's easier if I have a to-do list with me. But I also have my handy notebook.
Yeah.
So that it's kind of like I will put it in the phone, but then I'll write it in the book. So that way, you know, if something is missing, I can go to, you know, if I'm in another place or something, I can go to either or. I try to have multiple places where it's at, even on email.
And that's what I find myself. I want to put it on paper, but then if I don't put it in my phone, I might miss something, because that paper can alarm me like the phone can. But then I find myself missing stuff anyway, trying to keep it in two places. So I'm trying to go all electronic, and it's not working, because for a to-do list, I got to touch it. I got to feel it.
That's good. It's just not working. There's nothing wrong with that, because ultimately, you know, that's the original way.
Yeah.
That's the original, or well, the original way. I can't say how far back it goes, but yeah, I mean, I think all of it is something that we can all incorporate, because ultimately seeing it on paper sometimes is even better than just looking at it on an electronic device. It's just something about the difference.
Paper,
yeah.
Now, I this is a typical question. I'm going to go away from how do you choose your event, your entertainment. Have you had a weird request for entertainment?
I would say kind of, but I think I swayed them away from most of.
Okay.
I
Was it going to be hard to find, or you just was like, that's crazy?
It wasn't necessarily fitting the particular event.
Okay.
And so I'm trying not to say it because
yeah, I get it. I
person
get it.
would
You want
know.
to, yeah, I get it. I get it.
So yeah, it was just not going to fit that particular event.
Okay. So when you go see a potential client, what do you get? What's the first thing you do to persuade them to say, hey, I'm your girl, I'm your girl, I'm your girl?
The first thing I do is just, I mean, I'm pretty much trying to have a conversation. Like, what are your needs? Because that is really the whole point of it all. Like, what's your concerns?
Mm-hmm.
And have you had those concerns addressed by anyone?
Mm-hmm.
If you have not, then this is what I offer.
Okay.
And so I essentially kind of bring out things that they didn't know that they needed in the conversation. Mm-hmm. And that's how I usually sway them to become my clients, should I say. Okay. By having that conversation of, hey, have you thought about XYZ? Mm-hmm. And do you want to move forward with this way? Without giving too much information initially, because ultimately, I think that as an event planner, there are people that can plan their own parties, of course, right?
Right.
So it's a convenience piece. It's something that, you know, not necessarily a requirement, but if you are a person that has a lot going on in your life, you have a full-time job, you have kids, you just don't like to deal with a lot of the planning process,
right?
Then I'm the person that you should contact, because ultimately my goal is to alleviate that stress from you, right, and make sure that everything flows. And not only that, we're coordinating, planning, I'm talking to you, communicating with you, but at the same time, I'm going to have to be there on the day of and make sure that the day is managed while you're trying to get prepared or get your person prepared or whatever. I'm there making sure that everything's in place for you.
I like that word, convenience. I'm there for convenience because my life is hectic, and planning a party right now would be the furthest thing from my mind. So, and I have up scrolling on the bottom of the screen how people can contact you, because somebody may have an upcoming event, and I made sure I put everything on there: your IG, your Facebook, your email, your website, and go and check her out, because she does great work, guys. And when I saw what she was doing, and if you don't know, I met her at this is a tongue twister, Mingling with Millionaires mixer. Okay. And I'm here to tell you, she did a great job of just pulling all that together. So I just think that you did a fantastic job, and everybody should know it. So
okay, now let me just clarify. The Mingling with Millionaires mixer is not my event.
But I saw you there, and I went on your website. As soon as you gave me the card, I went on your website and I went, whoa, this is good. This is good.
Okay, thank you.
No, I wasn't saying that was your event. I saw you at that event. I'm putting a disclaimer. I wasn't saying that her event. I should have said that I went to her website. And then I saw something else you have coming up, but we will talk about that in a minute, okay? So you persuaded the people to use you. What's the most challenging event or anything that you've planned that was difficult?
I would say the most challenging event that I had was an event where there were not just one or two point of contacts as clients.
Yeah.
So you're typically dealing with, like I said, the female or just the one person. But when there's multiple people involved, it's difficult because there's a break in the communication as to who wants what and when and where. And then, there's information that is received on one end and the other person's not receiving the information. And then later we have to change or go back and revisit that. And so it was a lot of back and forth between communications and clarifications and making sure. So it's doable, obviously, but it is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it. We pulled it off.
That's what I'm saying. It takes a good person, and I am not that person.
Event. It was really a beautiful event. It was really a beautiful situation at the end of the day. And that's what really brings me joy. It's like it's a lot beforehand, and there's a lot of communications and back and forth and making sure that this is right and that's right and changes. But at the end of the day, what you look at, and obviously you see it in photos and things like that, but videos, you see that everyone's happy and enjoying each other. That's what I like. I'm just that person. I like to see the enjoyment of everybody and the beautifulness of the venue or the event, whether it's a meeting or whether it's a conference, whether it's a party, whether it's a wedding, just seeing those people intermingling and networking or doing whatever they're doing is what brings me joy.
So what's the scope of everything? So you do all those things you just listed. You set up meetings and weddings. Of course, weddings is the first thing that comes to mind, but you do birthday parties. What else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm basically like the concierge service. Okay. So I'm not putting myself in a box because that's basically a coordinator is able to coordinate anything that you're having that you want to do in like I said, in any setting. And we'll get to, particulars about what I have coming up. But yes, I do meetings, I do parties, I do weddings. And I work, if you have a new idea, we're going to work together and get it done.
Okay. I like that. And I like the fact that you said you're not putting yourself in a box. I like that. So now, if a client blamed you for something you didn't do, what would you do about that?
Well, first my goal is obviously to diffuse a situation. And so I would apologize that they felt that I was the blame, but I would explain to them how I was not the blame, ultimately, and find a way to help them get to the bottom of whatever the situation is.
Okay.
But I would have to, make sure that I separate the fact that although I'm moving forward to take action to do X, Y, Z, I do want you to understand it is your responsibility to pursue whatever with that particular person or vendor or whoever in order to rectify the situation. But I can initiate it, or I can, whatever it may be, because I don't know, we're speaking of a general thing. But my goal is to basically try to, to help as much as I can to correct the situation.
It takes a special kind of person to work with the public, and I don't think I'm that person because my feelings get hurt real easily, and I'll be sitting over there somewhere sobbing like, oh gosh. So no. And then the stress of it's not even my event, but it is my event technically, but the stress level would kill me if I had to plan something and it didn't go right. That would tear me apart. So I leave that to the pros.
Ultimately, this is the thing that I tell my clients and I tell myself. Anytime you're planning anything, there's a likelihood that something's going to go wrong, right?
Okay. Right.
You have to adjust to those circumstances.
Okay.
Like if you, say for instance, you're going to do a speech and you had all your notes together and everything's ready and you forget your notes. You have to adjust to the situation and you have to do an impromptu speech and be yourself at that point. And that's probably going to be the best speech that you ever brought. And that's the way we have to look at it. It's like, it wasn't what I planned, but you still did the speech and the speech still happened.
Right. Okay.
And it's still a great speech.
Okay.
And so that's how I try to get the mindset together for myself and my clients. not to say that we're not going to go forward and try to do everything we can to get everything done.
Right.
But there are going to be times where there are certain pieces that you may not even know about as a client, because I'm the coordinator. I'm going to just keep moving. I'm going to move it around and adjust it accordingly. You may not know that we didn't put the 10 candles on the table that you wanted, right?
Right.
10 candles were supposed to be there, but it's 8. I mean, it's not going to affect the overall outcome of your party.
Right.
So, and that's where, as an event planner or event coordinator, you have to, give yourself a break. That everything may not be exactly the same, but you want to have it as close as possible to their vision.
Okay. So have you seen any new trends out there in this industry since you've been doing it for 2 years?
There's always changes in different areas. So weddings, there's different trends, and parties, there's different. So it's constantly things changing, especially with social media and TikTok. TikTok is the one that gets a lot of people going. Like, they are like, oh, TikTok, this, then TikTok, that, and TikTok had me do it.
That's exactly why it's TikTok, because it's just constantly moving. They chose the right name, TikTok.
So yes, there's always something going on, and now we have, AI.
Yes.
So there is a lot of technology incorporated into different events, and I'm into some of that. I'm not real tech savvy, but I'm getting there.
So do you constantly watch the internet for changes, or do you go to like event planning conferences or something? I would not know where to start with this.
I personally, I'm just going to be honest, I have not been to any conferences of upcoming things, because, and the reason I say this, obviously learning more about your industry is helpful. But again, you have so many different people from different walks of life, and so many people have their own idea of what they want. And you can do all those things, and you can introduce those to them. It's their decision to decide if they want to do whatever you've learned or whatever you want to incorporate. So yes, you want to have that in your under your belt, but it's not an absolute, because again, what you may want for your event, the other person not going to want.
It may say it's total garbage. No, I would never do that. Yeah, I get it. Right. I totally get it. Just like my husband for our wedding. Oh, I don't care, baby, what you do. Just long as I'm standing next to you on the day. It's your day. I told him the colors. He was like, call me from the phone. I'm not wearing that. I was like, what?
Yeah, like, what happened?
I said, wait a minute. So all my life I had these 2 colors picked out, and at the end I had to change because him and his mother said, baby, we don't like those colors.
That's how it happens
for them. I really did.
Yeah, you find out a lot, like during the planning process of an event, about a person, and that, what they actually want and don't want. Like, again, I always have people that say, I don't care. Right. And then, they care.
Yep. I was just like puzzled by that. I said, wait a minute, you told me you didn't care. This was my day. I could do whatever I want. And then all of a sudden I tell you what the colors were. And he goes, oh no, we're not doing that. And it was purple, royal purple, and emerald green. Those are my 2 favorite colors. And he said, no, thank you.
What did you end up with?
Black and gold.
Wow, that was a total change. Okay.
And I told him, if we ever renew those vows, you can either show up or not, because they will be purple and green.
Okay, well, call me for your purple and green.
I already told him, you can show up or not. Right now, it's we are on year 27. So in 3 years, wow. I might need to prepare him now for those 3 years that you might be doing some purple and green.
Yes, ma'am.
So, in my background, I'm going to take me off the screen for just a second, and I'm going to let you talk about this upcoming event because if you're okay for that, right?
Oh yeah, I have a
All
few
right.
events coming up.
So here it is. If you can go ahead, just talk about that little bit right there in the corner, darling.
Okay, so that's the showroom.
All
That's
right.
on Sunday. So the showroom is an all red affair, flaming hot red affair. And I got on some red. You got on red today, actually. But the showroom will be Sunday, May 26th, starting at 7 o'clock p.m. I have live performances coming to the showroom.
Okay.
There is the Fish and Grits Band out of Orlando. They're so awesome. They're going to be there performing live. I have Alexis Chantel out of Winter Haven.
Okay.
She is a solo singer. She's going to be singing live. We have Armani right out of Lakeland. He's a young man there. He has one of my favorite songs right now that's out on YouTube, Dumb Love.
Okay.
And then I have Nina Williams out of Tampa. She's powerhouse singer. She's going to be there singing live. We have DJ Shism from 95.7 The Beats are going to be on there or be there that night playing tunes throughout the night. I have a cigar lounge that's going to be out on the patio. We have This, That, and the Other podcast that's going to be there interviewing guests as they come in, and as well as the performers. We have the lab. They're going to be there as a vendor selling cake. She has that best red velvet cake. I love red velvet.
God.
And then we have Sweetie Pie Bling Paparazzi. She's going to be there as a vendor.
Okay.
I have another business, MKG Publishing. So I will have a table there for the books that is written by my husband, Jonathan Gaines.
Okay.
And then we have the Snoop Smash Burgers. He's gonna be there as a caterer. And I said it like that because he has like a way of introducing his business. It's so fun. But I wish I could do it. And he's gonna be the caterer for the night for my VIP, which is practically sold out. We only have the VIP sofa left right now. Sofas, there's 2. So all the tables are gone. There's general admission still available, and the tickets are available on eventbrite.com. New Outlook Events presents the showroom. So get your tickets on eventbrite.com.
Okay.
It's going to be a great time. Show up, show out. Oh, we have Flash and Flicks photo booth. They're going to be there to capture the moments. I have media that's going to be there. So it's just going to be a great time. It's just something where the city can come out, people can come out and enjoy themselves. Christopher King is one of our special guests that's going to be coming through. He is.
I'm gonna tell my husband to get our red doodads together, and we gonna need to come on up to Lakeland.
Yes, ma'am. Christopher King is a special guest that's going to be coming through. He is a humanitarian, grandson of B.B. King. And then I have a social media influencer, Ronnie Red. He's going to be there as a special guest. And there's just going to be so many people just coming through. Our official sponsor is Charlie's Cheesesteak House. I said house. Charlie's Cheesesteak on 98 North in Lakeland by Walmart. So they are our official sponsors. We're going to have for the VIP just everything laid out. It's just going to be a wonderful time, like I said, for everybody to enjoy themselves. And yes, you need to come out.
Well, you need to have the sauce. The next event, make sure you got the saucy tigress up there now, okay?
Well, the next event after that, which is not is actually for my client.
Yeah,
they are a part of the Mingling with Millionaires group, and they have a real estate foundation. The real estate foundation is having a mix and mingle on May 30th.
Is it 30 or 31st?
30th. It's on a Thursday.
Yeah, she invited me. Alexis invited me.
Okay, great. And that is going to be at Dignitary in Tampa. So check them out. It's kind of the same. It's a vibe. You know, they're going to have music and they'll have food. And they're going to give you information about the real estate industry.
Yeah. Okay. I will be there for that one. So I will make sure that I'm in attendance. Are you going to be there?
I will be there. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, you and I
And
need to hook up. We need to do the same because I see that you are very well spoken and I love it. I love it.
oh, well, thank you. And then also June 22nd, I
Uh-huh.
have my Juneteenth event.
Yes, ma'am.
That's coming up, and I've already, put the information out there on social media for that
Okay.
event, and it's on Eventbrite.
Okay.
That's a free event. That's a family event. We
Yep.
have Christopher King going to be a speaker there. We have
Okay.
Black Panthers going to be in there,
Okay.
um, from Heroes for Hire. There's a
Okay.
lot going on that day. I just want to let
Okay.
you know that you can register on Eventbrite for all of
Okay.
these events.
All right. So I'm gonna start registering on Eventbrite, and I'm already following you on IG, and so what I'll do is start posting stuff on my IG from your site, so that I can help get the word out there. I just love helping females. I don't care what walks of life. I don't care what color you are. Our female population need to dominate. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And if
Yes,
you have
ma'am.
anybody else out there that you think will be good for me to interview, please do not hesitate to give them my email address. And listen, what advice do you have to anybody who's wanting to start? And I don't want you to feel like, oh, I'm giving away my trade secrets. Just what advice do you have to give to anyone who wants to start their own business?
Well, I would say with starting your business, for one, make sure that you have set your foundation. Get
Hmm.
everything together for your legal
Hmm.
purposes,
Okay.
insurance,
Good.
contracts,
Good advice.
whatever you need to have for your particular business or your event planning business. Go ahead and get that set up first, because you don't want to have to do a lot of what I'm doing is swimming backwards to get
Uh-huh.
some of the stuff done.
Okay.
Um, Even though I knew I needed to get it done. Like you just want to go ahead and get started sometimes because you procrastinated for so long, and or you said, okay, I'm gonna do it, and then finally you're just like, okay, I'm just getting out there. And so I
Yeah.
just got out there. But you want to be able to also make sure that you are financially stable, have multiple streams of income,
Okay.
because this is not an industry where you're constantly being paid on a weekly basis,
Okay.
or well, you can be, but
Hmm.
a lot of times there is a big gap. Like you can have really great moments
Hmm.
of an event happening, and then there's nothing, right?
Right.
So you want to make sure that you have other sources that you can rely upon in those cases. And in this world right now, we all have to do that, regardless of where we're at.
Right. Right.
And so that is something that I would just say, make sure you have those things in place.
Oh, well, guess what, Miss Gaines? You have been amazing. Okay. You
I
have
like
been
that. Amazing.
amazing. And I am so thrilled to have you here. If you ever want to come back again and talk about it, just come talk to me. You have my cell phone, you have my email. Just hit me up and say, hey, I have something else I want to talk about, and I am here for you. Okay.
Okay. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Listen, I am going to tell my husband Sunday we need to take I love an outing. You hear me? Now,
Okay.
is this event Sunday? Is it just already? Is it casual? Is it formal? What type of event is it?
So this is what I've told everyone. I'm not going to tell you that you have to be formal or casual. Just be fly, sexy,
Okay.
and cool.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Listen, I like to be fly too, you know. So I'm gonna tell my husband I need to get my red together so I can be fly. And your job for me now is to take this link and forward it to all your family and friends. That's what
Yes,
your job
ma'am.
is, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely will.
All right. So since my amazing guest is about to leave me, I'm so sad, but she will be seeing me on Sunday. Okay, darling.
Yay!
You will be seeing me on Sunday. I just got to get my red fly together, okay?
Okay.
All right, guys, listen here. This is what I want to tell you. I want to say thank you to my amazing guest, Wanda Gaines, owner of New Outlook Events. So please email me if you have someone who has something special to tell. I like to talk to ordinary people who have extraordinary stories to tell. Okay. And all you have to do is reach out to me at scurry.latasha@gmail.com. All right. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Domesticated Diva, and watch Facebook on Sunday nights for upcoming shows. I'm Latasha Scurry. Thank you for watching Wednesday Night Whispers on LSTV. See you soon, baby.
Bye.
Bye.